So, I believe this is where we had left off. Okay. No, it was probably back one. This doesn't look familiar either. Okay, I do remember talking about these double bonded oxygens. Okay. Again, these functional groups or families will become more important as we continue progressing through this semester and being able to recognize what type of family it is, because once you've done that or established it, it makes it more, let's say, makes it easier for you to figure out what's actually forming. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Okay. This one? Okay. Maybe even one more. Okay. Okay. So, one aspect to be careful of, okay, of the functional families, we could say that there are 4 of them that have oxygen. Alcohols, acids, ketones, and what would the 4th one be? Starts with the letter A. It's an aldehyde, that's right. So those are 4 different families, functional families with oxygen. But what sets them apart, okay, does alcohols, do they have a double bonded oxygen? No, they do not. So it's the placement of that double bonded oxygen that sets apart your acid, your ketone, and your aldehyde. So there's only 3 of them that have double bonded oxygens, but there are 4 different families that contain oxygen. Okay. And I missed one. There's actually 5. I forgot about the esters. I just happened to glance up and catch that at the last moment. Okay. Now again, with this, we had said you're probably going to like this group, because when we reach this, the next time you see that, it's probably going to be in April. But maybe you're not looking forward to that because, wait a minute, I'm not ready for the volleyball season to be done. I'm not ready for the basketball season to have begun, gone through it, and finish up as well. Is it kind of sad to look, this is my last volleyball season? But one thing to think about, whatever it is that interests you at this level, you will continue to perhaps take part in those same type of activities in college, but what's so much better or beneficial or more fun is it's kind of like it's on your turn. You're doing it because you want to. There's no set practices, there's no late nights, and it's just for fun. We'd like to think that you're competing right now for fun, but maybe some people don't look at it that way. But anyway, so this is quite a ways off, but this type of family is, again, in a mind. Okay. So we've gone through, what can you tell me about an alkane? There should be 3 things that you should be able to say, I know everything there is to know about an alkane, because name the 2 elements that are associated with alkanes. Just what and what? Nope, those are different families. We're just alkanes only. 2 elements. You're going to hit yourself in the hydrogen and carbon. That's right. Okay, and what's true about the bonding with those carbons? Yeah, it's all single bonds. That's right. one of the aspects that when we think about natural gas, that is just a common name. What's the simplest hydrocarbon when it comes to when we think of natural gas? What's the simplest alkane or hydrocarbon? Close. That's the derivative. That methyl group is derived from what? You were close. Methane. That's right. Okay. So methane, okay, is the scientific name for natural gas. Okay. I think even for ourselves, what type of stove do you have in your house? Is it a conventional electric or a gas stove? Electric, and okay. Have you ever used a gas stove before? I think what people tend to believe is if you had an electric one and you have a gas stove, you won't go back to an electric one. Now, whether that's true or not, I really don't know. We do have a gas stove, and even myself, I really like it as well. But they still do, of course, the same job. It's heating up whatever it is you're cooking. Okay. So probably one of the biggest aspects. Yes, we can't live without the drugs of prescriptions that we need as we possibly get older. Of course, certainly important for more than just tires, but also different types of seals and gaskets and whatever it is you would need. But this is probably the biggest one right here. Throughout your all day long, when it comes to plastics, that's something that we definitely can't live without either. This whole component that I'm wearing with this microphone, this slide presenter, your pen, um, are you lost without your water jug? I mean, not lost, but it's kind of like, oh man, I don't want to drink out of the fountain. That's what you're thinking, yes. And I don't know if you're carrying around you probably have a water jug too, your pencil case. Oh boy, I see a little Debbie snack. We don't want that to get stale, so yeah, we have plastics that we use for food preserving. That's right. Okay. I want to do this one yet. 3, 4. There's 5 left, so I want to make sure we get to the isomers. Okay. So this is really nothing new when we're talking about one more back, okay? set of problems and collect the naming of the prior compounds. So, and I want to give you time to work on that, just because you know we're busy, and I think that's you're busy, I'm busy, and again, this isn't the only class that you're taking, even though we have lots of study halls throughout the day, right? Right? College, yes, and they're going to eat up a lot of your time. Yep, I get that. So, and we've seen a couple examples up here, and I will illustrate what it is that we're talking about on this slide here. Okay, is everyone done with this? And we'll get this wrapped up. All right. So, just a preview of what it is that we mean about isomers will be as follows. Oh boy, this was a new red marker. That's not really erasing that well. Okay, so one of the things that we had mentioned, we talked about, okay, you certainly know that this is one way we could write this compound, and that would be what? 4 carbons is butane, okay? So when we're talking about, this is the molecular formula, okay? If we had a condensed molecular formula, it would look like this. Okay? That would be a condensed molecular formula. And then when we look at the expanded type, the one that we use, that I would suggest, is this type, where rather than taking one of these two, rather writing out the structure. Because I think it's just much easier to see what it is we're dealing with. Now, for those of you who take this class in college, yes, you're probably going to have to utilize that top right condensed formula. And just remember, there's nothing wrong with writing out the structural formula for that. It might take you a little bit longer time, but to me, it's so much easier to see what you're dealing with when you write out the expanded structural formula. That's just my opinion, because now you got that CH3, that's this guy, 2 CH2s, okay, that's why you see them, and then a CH3 at the end, okay. So when we're talking about isomers, okay, how many do you think, how many isomers would you guess from the prior knowledge that you've learned from prior classes, how many do you think exist for butane? We all in agreement? Okay. One of the aspects to think about, the larger the hydrocarbon, the more isomers there are, but it's much easier to deal with those because there's actually only one, okay? And that would be the only isomer. I think we had said earlier in class, we talked about butane, and then there's just 2-methyl butane. That's the only isomer for that of butane. Because what happens is if you take this methyl group off of there and you put it over here, what's the problem with that? Well, it's not as the same as what? Yeah, it's the same as butane. Okay, and that free rotation that we're talking about. Okay, since it's in 3 dimensions, that methyl group that was on 2-methyl propane, that could also be on the bottom. Just because you put it down here, and I think you would agree, okay, that doesn't make it an isomer. Okay, you're just putting it, you're rotating around single bonds. Now that gets to be different when we start talking about alkenes, because on a double bond, okay, those carbon atoms don't have that free rotation. Okay, they're fixed between the two double bonds. So yes, isomers get to be a little tricky, but that just comes with practice. Just think of the first time that maybe you had picked up not necessarily picked up a volleyball, but perhaps, or even the first time in a game in 7th grade or whatever, you pick up a volleyball to serve. It's not that you won't be successful at it. Maybe there's some nerves that go into it, and man, I don't want to airmail it out on the other side, and please get over the net, and there's a lot that goes into it. What's you have a good serving percentage? Do you think? Does that disappoint you? Okay. That's the best part, I think. Well, for me. Oh. Because you're serving? Okay. Well, that's true. I gave them a point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I agree. But okay. Well, that's all part of the game. So anyway, so we will continue with a little bit of this tomorrow, and you have some vocab terms. I see some that you were looking at. We will go over those tomorrow. You have some papers to turn in. All right.